Hello. Today, the Fintech Times is at Fintech Connect, and we're catching up with Samuel. Samuel, thank you very much for joining us today. Can we kick off by just giving us a quick intro, please?
Yep, sure. Thank you for having me. I'm Samuel Flynn, co-founder, chief exec at Hands In. A bit of background about me. I've always been an entrepreneur. I started my first business at 14 years old, selling Lucozades, Chewits, cookies, anything I could get my hands on, not only to the pupils, but even the teachers. And then really from that period onwards, I've started many different businesses, some being more successful than others, whilst at A-level and university. But it was effectively straight out of university that I've now decided to co-found Hands In, which is a split payments platform and providing split payment solutions in the way that you might not necessarily think. Sometimes when we think split payments, we think services like installments with buy now, pay later. We do those things, but where we're most known for is the ability to split payments across multiple cards and across multiple people. So just to talk a bit about how each product works, is we've created two new payment methods where, let's say, for example, you're a customer buying a travel purchase and your credit limit is only 2,000, but you want to afford this purchase that might be 5,000. We can give that customer the ability to pay with two credit cards and a debit card, or two debit cards and a credit card, effectively multiple card payments for the same transaction. So when you think about the number of cards, credit cards, bank accounts that you have in your wallet, you can now use all of them online for the same transaction. And then the second part of the business is where we originally started, and sort of the idea birthed at university was the difficulty in splitting payments amongst friends. And where we kind of stand out in the crowd is by providing that at checkout, meaning we work directly with merchants and the payment service providers to provide the ability for customers to go onto checkout, see a group payment option, split that transaction, share that with their friends, everyone joins and pays together simultaneously. And the use case for users there is everyone's been through that process where they're paying for something as a group. One person, unfortunately, is the lead booker and typically has to upfront the entire amount on his or her card, which if you're a Gen Z or millennial, you probably don't have the sufficient funds to do so. So this is sort of where this product is really trying to disrupt at the moment.
Fantastic. Well, it's a really sort of innovative and great idea, and it's almost surprising when you hear about the concept that it's something that you're sort of the first in doing so. I also know a lot of people at 14, that kind of age, they were in the Lucozade and cookies business.
Yeah.
But they haven't quite reached this kind of stage in the company, so that's very impressive. But as you said, we've caught up with you last year at Pay 360, which is a year and a half ago now. Can you tell us about sort of the big developments that's been going on? Any sort of big announcements that you've had in that time?
Yeah, so when I did the interview with Tyler a year and a half ago, we just finished raising a 500,000 funding round, and we used that to effectively build out the MVP of the product. That led us to sign our first big enterprise client, which was a company called Air Europa. They're Spain's third largest airline. And now we've been able to get them live. So we went live with them in June of 2024. And the results have been astounding. We've added $1.4 million in incremental revenue to their checkout page, mainly through the group checkout solution. And incremental revenue I define as revenue a business would never otherwise get if our solution or service wasn't available. And then with our multi-card product, we have recovered now, up until November, just over $2 million in declines that were declining from insufficient funds. And the reason why I want to mention this is that when you use multiple card payments for the same transaction, what happens in travel often is that 1 in 10 payments decline. Now, by and large, the biggest reason why they decline is due to insufficient funds. In fact, the average number for MasterCard is about 36% of the times why travel transactions decline at checkout is due to insufficient funds. So giving customers the ability to pay with multiple cards can increase their affordability for a transaction where it's high basket value. So this case study has led us now to sign over $1 million worth of new partnerships and new business. So we've just signed a big ticketing platform called Sports Events 365. So now Hands In is going into the ticketing sector. We've also signed a number of different partnerships with some major payment aggregators, some of which I can't say, some of which I can. So big names like in the orchestration space, D1, EconPay we've signed as well, and there are several others on our roadmap. And the success of this year has just led us to close another funding round where we're now at over £1 million or $1.2 million raised for the business. So it's been a good year.
Fantastic. And as you said, you kind of had that big partnership with Air Europa. You can see why it would be so beneficial, particularly in the travel industry. Obviously, you said you've moved into sort of other industries as well. Is there any that you have your eye on that perhaps you haven't moved into yet that you think it could be hugely beneficial, or is it just a blanket solution where there isn't really an industry that it wouldn't be beneficial to?
Very good question. I think each product has its own sector use cases beyond it. So the multi-card product, I think, would be great in luxury goods. So maybe you're buying a watch as an example, and your credit limit is only so much. Now you can pay with 2 credit cards. You've just increased your affordability for that Rolex that you've always wanted. Also, other luxury goods, maybe like clothing and stuff like that. But where we've signed these partners, what it's going to allow us to do is work with them to specifically see in each of the sectors how many transactions are declining due to insufficient funds, and effectively provide the products and services to those marketplaces where now we can start to recover them. Because we're recovering at the moment about 10% of Air Europa's overall declines from insufficient funds. And the new merchant that we're going live with, Sports Events 365, their percentage that they're losing in the ticketing sector from insufficient funds is much higher than what it is in airlines, which is sort of bizarre because you think airlines higher basket value. So I think that's going to be a great vertical for us. But yeah, to answer your question, I think luxury goods will be our next one, and then really anything else. I also think cars. Buying cars. If you're buying a car online, your credit limit will only be so much. If you could pay with 2 cards and as a customer maximize your reward schemes, that would be fantastic. But really, I think we'll let the market and our partners take us to where the new use cases need to lie for us.
Fantastic. And obviously last year and even now, you're talking about just sort of the uniqueness of the solution. One thing that's sort of happened very recently is PayPal launched its money pooling feature. So just thinking about that, when you saw that, what was your take on it first and foremost? And will that kind of thing change your approach?
I thought it was great. I think the more the big incumbents can get in this space, the better it is for the ecosystem and ultimately my business. Because I would say we are true trailblazers creating these new types of ways to pay. Where we stand out from PayPal is that this money pooling feature is effectively a way that friends and family can pool money together to then make a purchase. How we're different is we effectively do all of that anyway, but just provide you the ability, like Klarna does in Buy Now, Pay Later, to do this all at the checkout. And you give the merchant the experience to offer this and add incremental revenue. So the numbers that we've been able to deliver for Air Europa, a PayPal merchant, unless they load that at the checkout, will not get access to that. That's where we play. So I think it's fantastic that PayPal are doing this. I think all more power to them. I don't think this will be the last time that others follow, but we're best in place to really win in this market because we've effectively founded it. And we've already got products that are working not only across multiple major payment aggregators, but also the biggest clients out there. And that is only going to continue.
Perfect. And obviously, this event is sort of towards the end of the year. It's always in December. So I always find it's a good place to not only reflect, but also look to the future and what's in the coming year, what your plans are. So do you have any big plans or future developments that you can share with us now?
Yeah, so we're going live, as I mentioned, with the big ticketing merchant, hopefully this month. Next quarter, we've got 2 major PSPs going live, one based out of Singapore and Hong Kong, and then one based out of Bahrain and areas of the Middle East. Well, hopefully I'll do another interview and tell you who they are and the relationships that we have with them. With that, I think that's going to platform us not only into more airlines, more travel businesses, but as we mentioned, other sectors. And we're working on a few really big deals at the moment with some of the biggest brands that we all know. We look up in the air and we see them every day. So I think 2025, with the case study that we've got from Air Europa, will be a case of getting some of those brands to say, okay, they're serious now. This isn't just some idea that these university kids basically is like written down on a piece of paper. This is a legitimate business that provides real value. We want some of that as well. So that's what my vision for 2025 will be, is getting partners live and getting big customers live. And we've got more than enough time and money to do it.
Fantastic. Well, it seems like a very exciting time, and I wish you all the best for the future. And obviously, thank you very much for joining us today. It's great to catch up. And like you said, hopefully we'll catch up soon in the future.
Yep, definitely. Thank you so much.